So, did Hitler want to take over the world? No. Again, this is just projection by the writers of history. In reality, the same people who accused Hitler of wanting world domination were actually themselves guilty of wanting to take over the world. Churchill, for example, accused Hitler of trying to take over the world at a time when his own country controlled the largest empire in history. The Jewish communists accused Hitler of trying to take over the world when the Communist International, Comintern, had explicitly said that they fought for world domination and had already occupied most of the world's countries through total control of their media, banking, and politics. Hitler, of course, wished for the whole world to adopt nationalism to defend themselves against the evils of globalism. But he also made it absolutely clear that he did not want to force anyone else to adopt National Socialism. The National Socialists were not Aryan supremacists. They simply wanted to preserve their own race and preserve the true biological diversity in the world and be the leaders of their own nation. In accordance with nature's laws, nothing is more right than the preservation of one's own race. Having pride in and love for your own race and wanting to ensure its survival is not a crime. It is the most natural feeling in the world. No matter what the anti-white media says, true nationalism represents true global diversity. Love of your own race and culture does not mean hatred of other races. The National Socialists believe that every people had the right to preserve their own unique heritage, culture, character, art, literature, music, values, faith, and other characteristics that define them in their own countries. All races have the right to live in peace in their own homelands, free from the threat of demographic replacement. Globalism and cultural Marxism represent anti-diversity because they want to water us all down, destroy racial identity and the unique distinctions between the divergent races, making us all the same. The melting pot concept that the globalists are promoting for white European nations is in fact anti-true diversity and seeks to eradicate diversity at the same time as deceptively championing it. The real racists and supremacists are those in favor of forced mass immigration or miscegenation to destroy a nation's unique individual character, beauty, and culture. People from all over the world united behind Germany. Many people saw straight through the propaganda that was being launched against Hitler in the media. Hundreds of thousands of Slavic, Russians, Arabs, Asian, Indians, blacks, and even Native Americans wore the eagle and the swastika proudly on their breast. The Nuremberg racial laws have been regarded particularly racist as they reduced the rights of the Jews in Germany. The laws also prohibited marriage between Jews and Gentiles. However, Zionists and National Socialists actually cooperated before the war on writing these racial laws. These laws were supported by the Jews themselves, who did not want to mix their blood with Gentiles. Mike Walsh said, "Racially mixed marriages were and are as much anathema to Jews as they were to Hitler." Hitler simply put in Germany first laws. Is it really that bizarre to keep Germany German? Most states in the USA had also enacted laws prohibited marriage between persons of different races at the same time. The Liberian constitution states that only black people can be citizens. So why aren't anti-racist groups screaming at Liberia? Why is this not front page news? Well, because no one cares that there is a country only for black people. What about the homogeneous ethno-state Japan with a Japanese population of 99%? Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and Yemen is 100% Muslim. Well, what about Israel? Is it racist for the Jews to keep Israel Jewish as well? Is it racist for Jews to put Israel first also? Interestingly, Israel would enact much more discriminative racial laws within their own Jewish ethno-state some years later. In Israel, it is illegal for Jews to marry a non-Jew. Palestinians within Israel are granted different rights to Jews. They are not allowed freedom of movement. Their towns receive less government funding than Jewish towns. They receive heavier prison terms than Jews, and they experience employment discrimination as public funding is not equal. Israel has a completely racially based immigration policy and only allows people of biological Jewish descent to immigrate to the nation. Jews are granted citizenship to Israel, but Gentiles are not. A Great Wall was enacted keeping immigrants out of the nation. Israel recognizes less than 1% of the asylum seekers. Jews in America and Europe are 100% united in demanding open borders and immigration reform, but at the same time hypocritically support Israel, which now uses DNA tests on potential immigrants in order to keep the Jewish state racially pure. Israel's law of return immigration policy is directly based upon the National Socialist Nuremberg race laws, which define the Jew as anyone with 2 or more Jewish grandparents. This law of return is not based on religion, but biological Jewish ancestry. The racial laws that were criticized in National Socialist Germany by the Jewish community became the national standard of laws in Israel, enacted by the same Jewish community.